So, we will now be discussing crimes against parricide. Your crimes against parricide is provided under Article 246 of your revised penal code, your book 2. Again, remember there are 2 books in your revised penal code, your book 1 and your book 2. In your crimes against person, there are a lot of laws. Okay? It can be parricide, murder, homicide. Okay? Meron din tayong death caused in a tumultuous affray and many more. So, let's just discuss them one by one. So, what is parricide? Okay? As flash in your screen, you can see there the elements of the crime. Okay? When we say elements, it must be complete for you to prove that a person is guilty for the crime of parricide. At itong crime na ito, okay? Parricide is ito yung elements niya. Number 1, a person is killed. Number 2, the deceased is killed by the accused. Number 3, the deceased is a father, mother, okay, or child, whether legitimate or illegitimate, or a legitimate other ascendants or other descendants or the legitimate spouse of the accused. Lagi niyo pong tandaan na sa crime ng parricide, this is based on relationship. Okay? Itong crime na to is based on relationship. Okay? So, being based on the relationship of the offender and the offended. Okay? When we say offender, this is the accused. Okay? And when we say offended, ito yung pinatay niya. Because one of the elements in crime of parricide, to nakikita nyo tong una, a person is killed. Yan. I hope that you are looking in your screen. Kita yung atoy, a person is killed. So, ada tinatay nga tao. So, lagi niyong tandaan itong 3 rules sa parricide. Ang basis ng parricide, again, is relationship. You take note of that. Kung tinanong ko kayo later on sa quiz ninyo, what is the basis in the crime of parricide? Your answer must be relationship. And your parricide is only committed by whom? Only by your relatives. Okay, sino tong mga relatives na to? This is either your father, your mother, or your child. Okay? Legitimate man or illegitimate. Kailan mo malalaman na legitimate child ka or illegitimate child ka? If you are born, okay? If you are born, nakasal ang mama at papa mo, then you are a legitimate child. But if you are born, okay, outside wedlock, you are an illegitimate child. Meron bang conspiracy sa crime na parricide? The answer there is no. Okay? Conspiracy cannot be applied because relationship is an element. Okay? Anong mangyayari ma'am pag ganon? There will be now a separate information for parricide. Okay? Okay? Paano kung, example, si Ana. Si Ana buntis. Okay? Ngayon, nanganak na si Ana. Si Ana, pinalaki niya yung anak niya, si Maria. Si Maria ay 3 years old na. Ngayon, matigas ang ulo ni Maria. Si Ana kasi ay isang dating GRO. Okay? Being a GRO, nabuntis siya ng isang masugid niyang kliyente. Okay? So, nabuntis ngayon ni Pedro si Ana at ang anak nila si Maria. Ngayon, mayroon palang pamilyang iba si Pedro. Ngayon, lumaki na si Maria, 3 years old na siya. Nagpapakita na siya ngayon ng senyales, nakaugali niya yung tatay niya. Kinaiinisan ni Ana yung si Pedro. Ngayon, pinatay niya ngayon si Ana. Okay? At lagi niyang pinapalabas na kapatid niya si Ana. So, ang sabi niya is hindi siya ang father, hindi siya ang mother ni Ana. Okay? Here, lagi niyong tandaan na if the purpose of the accused, okay, example, sa binigay kong case, si Maria, ay si Ana, I should say, yung nanay, si Ana. If the purpose of the accused in killing the victim is to conceal dishonor, okay, kasi nahihiya siya, ayaw niyang malaman ng ibang tao na may anak na siya at dati siyang isang GRO, okay, will that be a mitigating circumstances? Okay, di ba ang sabi pag mitigate is babawasan, parang pinatay ko yung anak ko dahil ayaw kong malaman ng ibang tao na isa kong dating pukpok at ayaw kong malaman nila na may anak na ako. Okay? Tapos yung anak ko ay yung tatay niya ay may pamilyang iba. Pwede bang maging mitigating circumstances? The answer there is no. Okay? Ma'am, hindi ba infanticide yun? Okay? Hindi ba infanticide yun, ma'am, kasi bata yung namatay? Okay? Remember, in the crime of infanticide, the age of the child is a very important matter. Yun ang pinagkaiba. Kung sa parricide, the basis is relationship. In infanticide, the basis is the age of the child. So, manuti tao na adyo ubing nga matay, ije infanticide. Okay? Sa parricide, again, the basis is relationship. Okay? The infanticide, age, the basis. Manutaw na, the child must be less than 3 days old. Okay? Or 72 hours. Okay? Tandaan nyo yun. So, if the person being killed is a child of 72 hours or 3 days old and was committed by the parent or even a stranger, okay, then that crime is infanticide. So, bigyan ko kayo ng example. Okay? Si Maria, okay, nakiusap siya sa kapatid niya, si Reynaldo. Si Maria, pinakiusapan niya yung kapatid niya na lalaki na si Reynaldo na patayin yung kanyang anak na si Baby. Okay. So, ngayon, si Reynaldo, pinatay niya ngayon si Baby. Kung si Baby ay 3 days old, less than 3 days old, si Maria at ang kanyang kapatid na si Reynaldo ay guilty of what crime? Infanticide. Okay? Diba? Please do not, mag-mute lang kayo. I'm not asking for, let me just discuss it. Okay? You can answer it by yourself na lang muna. Okay? So, the crime is infanticide. Bakit? Kasi nga, sabi ko sa inyo, sa infanticide, the basis is age. Okay? Kahit pananay mo yan, tatay mo yan, lolo mo yan, o lola mo man yan, o kapitbahay nyo, o kabit ng nanay mo, classmate ng nanay mo, yung nagbebenta sa tiyendaan, tricycle driver, o kaya sino man ita. Basta no ti pinatay da, ay less than 3 days old, infanticide yan, automatic. Okay? So, okay? Paano naman ito magiging, let's just put it on the other way. Okay? Kung si Baby ay 3 days old and above, or above, okay? The mother is liable for parricide. Hindi siya infanticide. Bakit? Kasi nga more than 3 years old na siya. More than 3 years old na siya naging. Kasi kung less than 3 days old na yan, that is infanticide. Pero kung more than 3 days old na yan, that is parricide. Paano naman yung brother, ma'am? Hindi ba parricide yun kasi ascendant siya or descendant? The answer there is, okay, The answer there is, it's not parricide, but it's a murder. Okay? Qualified by treachery. So, si Reynaldo, kung si baby ay, let's just say, 3 days old and 4 hours. O, diba? Inorasan pati oras, binilang natin. Okay? Sabi natin, 4 days old. Okay? Para hindi kayo malito. Kung 4 days old na si... kasi, lagi nyo tanda na, less than 3 days old. So, dapat 72 hours below. Okay? So, no 3 days old or more, ti crime nga na aramid ni Maria, dinanang ni baby ket parricide. Ngayon, aji manong na, aji kabsat na lalaki, anya ti crime nga na aramid na, murder, qualified by treachery. Apay haan nga parricide, ma'am. Okay? Kasi relationship met. The answer there is this one. Kikita nyo yung screen ninyo. Tingnan nyo yung screen ninyo. Wait lang. Pakita ko sa inyo. To. Kita nyo yan? Only relatives by blood and direct line. Ma'am, anong ibig sabihin ng direct line? Okay. When we say direct line, your relationship with your grandfather, your grandmother, and your son or your daughter. So, ngumato ka ni lolong, santo ni papang no, kaya ni mamang mo, santo si ka, santo di anak mo. So, direct line siya, di ba? Dire-diretso. Anya ti kabaliktaran na ti direct line, ma'am. Kasla nakaidda nga linya. Okay. Anya tawag ijay. Ti kabaliktaran na ti direct line is collateral line. Diba? Diba no naka-collateral line kayo, no aglilinya kayo nga kagkakaklase, diba aglinya-linya kayo, lakas jay. So, your relationship, no ni, example, ni lolom, adati sangapulo na nga anak. Ni Ana, ni Ben, ni Chris, ni Danilo, ni Efren, basta sangapulo da. Okay? Sangapulo da nga agkakabsat. Atang agkakabsat, their relationship is collateral. Okay? Kasano pagbalinan na nga direct line, ma'am? Agbalin nga direct line, it will become a direct line if their relationship is with regards to their grandfather, okay, great-grandfather, their mother or their father, and their children. So it's a direct line. Ngam ti collateral, agpapareho kayo ti level. Chay. Awanti, uncle, auntie, awanti, awanti, nanang, tatang, lolo, lola. Okay? Isungarod nga co-lateral, gawin pare-pareho lang kayo ng level. Agkakabsat kayo. Okay? Regardless of numanong mo, suna, numanang mo, ading mo. Say. Okay? Next one is your Article 247. Your Article 247 is death or physical injuries inflicted under exceptional circumstances. Atoy, kanyo ti star na ati very important. Okay? Kasano niya? Meron po bang mag-boyfriend? Ang Article 247, okay, ito ang elements niya. Number 1, that a legally married person or a parent surprises his spouse or daughter. Kita nyo to, ha? Spouse or daughter. The latter. Itong ibig sabihin nating latter, yung anak niya. Yung anak niya ay under 18 years of age and living with him. So, ibig sabihin, nakatira yung bata doon sa bahay nila. Hindi naka-boarding house, hindi may sariling apartment. Living with him in the act of committing sexual intercourse with another person. Number 2, that he or she kills any or both. So, mabalin lang may sak pinatay na, o kaya duwa. Lagi niyong tanda na, pwedeng death or physical injuries to. Or, inflicts any or upon both of them in an injury. Number 3, that he has not promoted or facilitated the prostitution of his wife or daughter, or that he has or she or he has not consented to the infidelity of the other spouse. Example nito. So, dito sa Article 247, dalawa ang taong involved dito. Pwedeng yung anak mo o yung asawa mo. Okay. Kung asawa mo yung involved, dapat asawa mo hanga girlfriend, hanga boyfriend. Pag sinabi nating asawa mo, dapat kasal ka talaga kayo. Okay? At yung kasal nyo ay valid. Okay? Punta muna tayo sa asawa. Kung nakita mo yung asawa mo na nakikipag-tsuktsak-tsenes, okay, in the act of sexual intercourse with another person, on the act. So, ngumato pa ba? Okay? Amuyo natin, you are mature enough. Okay? And you, okay, you decided to kill that person because, of course, that is a slap on your face being the spouse of that person. Okay? You will be tried under Article 247. I-explain ko sa inyo mamaya ang 247. So, ang issue, lagi niyong tandaan ito. Number 1, the marriage between the spouse must be valid. Okay? So, pag asawa mo, dapat legal yung kasal ninyo. Pero paano pag anak mo, ma'am? Yung anak mo dapat ay babae. Kung lalaki ang anak mo dito, okay, you are not qualified. Okay? Kung yung anak mo, because under Article 247, the privilege extends to the parent who surprises their daughter, okay, hindi lalaking anak, daughter, babaeng anak, less than 18 years old and living with them. So, lagi niyong tandaan na dapat yung surpresa, yung surprise, must be at the moment the sexual congress is taking place. So, kung if it is only about to take place, isla aglablabos dapay lang, or kapalpalpas da, madamada nga agsuot ti badbado dan, okay, you cannot invoke 247. Okay? Lagi niyong tanda ng Article 247 is a privilege. Okay, this is a privilege. Mabalin ka nga pumatay ti tao under Article 247, pero there are circumstances that you should follow. Okay? So another, it is the infidel spouse who must be surprised. Okay? Anong infidel spouse who must be surprised? Okay? So, dapat dito sa Article 247, yung nanloko, okay? Yung nanloko na tao, yung nanloko na asawa, okay? Example, lagyan ko na lang ng example. Si Maria at saka si Pedro ay mag-asawa. Meron silang anak, si Barbie. Ayan, parang hindi natin makalimutan. Si Barbie, meron siyang boyfriend, si Richard. Okay? So, si Barbie at Richard, matagal na silang mag-boyfriend. Okay? Pero, si Barbie ay 17 years old pa lang. At si Richard ay 17 years old also. Let's just say they are both minors. They are classmates kasi. So, si Maria, si Pedro, punta tayo doon sa situation. Si Maria may kabet. Let's just say, si Oliver. Kabit niya si Oliver. Kung si Pedro, nakita niya si Maria at saka si Oliver na under sexual congress, okay, on the act, dapat ang masorpresa ay hindi si Pedro. Okay? It must be the infidel spouse. It must be Maria who must be surprised and not the innocent spouse. Otherwise, the innocent spouse should have perfect timing so that he should be surprised at the very moment that the intercourse is taking place. Lagi niyong tandaan ang nakalagay sa batas. The law said that the surprise his spouse in the act, not was surprised. So, lagi niyong tandaan, kung tatanungin ko kayo, who must be the person surprised in under Article 247? The answer there is your infidel spouse. Okay? Infidel. Ajay, nanloko. Okay. Paano naman kung what is the penalty pala in your Article 247? Okay? What is the imposed? Okay. Sa'yo, kung napatay mo yung kabit ng asawa mo, o kaya yung asawa mo, o kaya dalawa sila, kaya naman yung kalaguyo ng anak mo na 18 years old below. Okay? What will be what's the consequences? Okay? Desterro will be imposed upon you. What is desterro? Okay? Destierro. Ang spelling niya is D-E-S-T-I-E-R-R-O. Okay? D-E-S-T-I-E-R-R-O. Lagi niyong tandaan na destierro is not a penalty. Okay? Destierro is not a penalty because there is no criminal liability. Okay? So, ano ang purpose ng Article 247? Yung Article 247 is imposed for the protection of the accused against retaliation. Okay? Para, when we say retaliation, sublianda ka, babalikan ka nila, gagantihan ka nila. Okay? In fact, where physical injury is inflicted on the infidels, there is totally no criminal liability. Okay? What is the rationale? Because killing or injury was without sufficient intelligence because of overwhelming passion. Siyempre, sino ba naman ang normal na tao na nakikita niya yung asawa niya na nakikipag-tsuktsak-tsene sa ibang tao, okay lang sa kanya? That is not normal. Okay? What will be your usual reaction? Sabunutan mo siya, noon niya ti maiggamamon, ket ipokpok mo kanya dan, ta agat tugda nga rod. Diba? So, that will be the normal and the usual reaction. Okay? Let's go with Article 248. Your Article 248 is your famous murder. Your Article 248 is your famous murder. So, what is murder? Of course, I know that you know this. Hindi ibig sabihin na pinatay ka sa bahay, homicide na yon. Okay? Hindi porke nanay mo na ang pumatay sa'yo, parricide na yon. Okay? Paano kung yung pinatay less than 3 days old? Infanticide yon. Ba? At hindi porke nanay yung pumatay, parricide na yun. Paano kung ang pinatay niya, kapitbahay niya? Hindi naman niya karelasyon. Ba? So, what is murder and what is homicide? This is usually, kahit mga law students, sometimes they are also confused. Because, they forget the qualifying circumstances. So, murder. These are the elements of murder. A person is killed at the tinatay. Okay? Merong namatay. Meron ding pumatay. And who is that? The accused. Okay, the accused killed him. That the killing was attended by any of the qualifying circumstances. Ito ang laging nakakalimutan. Okay? Kung wala ito, nakikita nyo itong naka-highlight? Qualifying circumstances. Ito yan, ato, iket deta ata ni. Kung wala itong element number 3, homicide yan. Okay? At dapat hindi rin siya parricide at hindi siya infanticide. Okay? Kung wala ito, homicide ata. Automatic, homicide. Pero kung meron ito, syempre, pwedeng parricide, pwedeng infanticide. Pero kung meron din ito, murder yan. Punta tayo sa qualifying circumstances. At ito ang pinagkaiba ng homicide sa murder. Lagi niyong tandaan na, hindi yung intent to kill. Paulit-ulit, ewan ko baka sa mga estudyante, bakit intent to kill ang lagi nilang sinasabi. Okay. First one. These are the qualifying circumstances in murder. So, ibig sabihin, no na-qualify, di ba no, example, kung qualified ka, pasok ka. Ganun ang ibig sabihin lang nun. Mga circumstances na pasok sa pagiging murder. Ganun yun. Tinagalog ko na, sapit na naawatan nyo. First one is that treachery. Okay? Okay, taking advantage of superior strength. Madami to. Pero kindly just read it. Okay? Pero I'll just try also to daanan ko paunti-unti ito. Kung pinatay mo yung tao na merong reward, binayaran mo, yan. That is number 2. Kung namatay siya at the occasion of fire, no, inusar mo kay poison, tapos nalululod tawag to, na bumabaha na nga o kaya agtay-typhoonin ket madaman pa nga patayin ang tao. Okay, that is true. Any calamities or eruption of volcano. Okay, when there is an evident premeditation, okay, tandaan niyo ito dun sa ano niyo, self-defense, diba? Kung there is no sufficient there is yung sa evident premeditation, di ba? Pwede sa sa self-defense ninyo. Ewan ko kung natatandaan nyo. And lastly, when there is a cruelty by deliberate or inhumanly augmenting the suffering. Ito, medyo nakakababa naman ng honor to as a tao. Pero let's just try to discuss them one by one. In murder, nakalagay dito, in murder, the victim must be killed to consummate the crime. Dapat natay ka ng tao mismo. And the offender here has the intent to kill. Okay? Sa homicide ba may intent to kill din? Yes. Pero kung napatay mo yung tao na wala kang intent to kill, ang tawag mo doon is reckless imprudence resulting to homicide. Okay? Kasi intent to kill in homicide and murder are both present. Both present. Meron sa murder, ada di homicide. Okay? Adamit lang di parricide. Siyempre, adamit lang di infanticide. Okay? So, the murder will exist only, okay, with only one of the circumstances described in Article 248. Okay, as long as, kita nyo to? May salang kanuti masapul. Ati nakadado nga nakalista. Ati nakadado. Makikita yung ati screen nyo. Ati nakadado nga lista ito. Uray may salang kanu. Pwede price lang. Pwede through volcano lang. Pwedeng through railroad lang. Pwedeng poison lang. That will already qualify as your murder. Anya ti pagbalinan na ma'am, no pinatay ko using by means of motor vehicle. Ibig sabihin, dinungpar ko talaga. Dinungpar ko aji kaaway ko. Okay? Dinungpar ko lang araw dun. Okay? Sinubli-subli akpay. Okay? Paano sinusubli? Isla, pinugulong-gulungan ko pa ng gulong ko. Okay? That is true cruelty. What will happen through yung cruelty? The cruelty will be a generic aggravating circumstance. So, no more than one ti circumstances na haan lang may adapay ti sabali nga present at that time. Okay? That will be aggravating circumstances. Generic lang siya. Generic aggravating circumstances. Okay? Lagi niyong tandaan that only one circumstance is needed to qualify homicide. Ibig sabihin, nung na-qualify mo ti homicide at kinaado na ating alistaan, hindi ka lang nga mo hindi pa yung mga 'Di ba? Kung meron itong circumstances na to tapos homicide yung crime, agbalin nga murder. Okay? So nadagdag murder apo ng homicide. So, ibig sabihin, ulitin ko. Kung merong isa, kung ang crime is homicide, let's just say adagamin tinatay. Adat intent to kill na. Ti sumrek insige daji utak yuket ket homicide. Hanga murder hanga murder. Okay? No adda. Adda ti maysa. Ito'y situation ito'y ate. Iti kinaado na iti listaan. Okay, di ba? Homicide ang nasa utak natin. Homicide. Automatic yun Hindi to example. Automatic. Pag may namatay, may intent to kill, homicide yun. Huwag kayong mag-murder. Homicide yun. Okay? Tapos, adda tinakitam, adda kano ti evident premeditation na. That is a qualifying circumstance for murder. Agbalin sigo din nga murder. Gamen, adda ti qualifying circumstance. Di ka mo naawatan nyo met lang, naawatan. Okay? Lagi nyong tandaan na kung ang pinatay nyo is bata, that is always, okay, children of age. Hindi ibig sabing 3 years old, 3 days old below. The killing of children is always murder qualified by treachery. Okay? Of course, I know that you know that what is a treachery. Okay? Ito yung gumagamit ka ng means. You are using any means to put a advantage to yourself and disadvantage to your victim. Okay? Okay? Bakit qualified ng treachery ang mga bata? Because ang mga minors po, they cannot put up any defense against an assailant. Okay? But if the child is less than 3 days old, of course, the crime is infanticide because the element of age. Okay. How about this one? You tell me these are example. Okay? Na hindi porke adati apoy, hindi porke may fire. Okay? It will not automatically become a murder. Okay? Kung sinunog mo si Maria, sinunog niya yung bahay ni Pedro. Okay? Sinunog niya yung bahay ni Pedro para hindi matagpuan at hindi nila malaman kung sino ang pumatay kay Pedro. Kasi nga pinatay niya si Pedro. Okay? Si Maria, pinatay niya si Pedro sa loob ng bahay niya. Ngayon, para hindi nila malaman kung sino ang pumatay kay Pedro, sinunog niya ngayon yung bahay ni Pedro. Okay? Is that a murder? The answer there is no. Lagi niyong tandaan, sa criminal law, dapat yung pinakauna at yung primary purpose, yun ang sundin nyo. Ano bang pinakauna? That is your killing. Okay? Okay? May qualifying circumstances ba doon? Ang ginamit bang pangpatay ni Ana is apoy? Hindi. It's just a mode to conceal the crime. Okay? So, the crime committed by Maria is homicide and arson. Okay? Arson. Because fire was not used to kill Pedro. It is only a way for Maria to conceal her crime. Okay? Number 2. No, agin-agin mo lang nga adda puur. It was only a joke. Okay? Pero because of that joke, that there is a fire, okay, your kapitbahay rush and run out from his house. So, sumisigaw ka kasi, sunog, 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 sabi mo. Ngayon yung kapitbahay mo, matatakutin, nagtaray rumwar sa bahay nyo, lumabas, tatanadong bas. Okay? What was the crime committed? Okay? A joke, but death resulted, okay? In the case of People versus Pugay, KGR number 74324, okay? When a death resulted through a joke, homicide was committed because the use of fire must be specifically resorted to in order to kill. Ma'am, hindi ba siya reckless imprudence resulting to homicide? The answer there is no. Okay. Why? Because intent to kill is presumed in homicide. Okay? So the next time you should be careful of what you are joking. Okay? Next, we go to Article 249. Kasunod lang nito is Article 249. Of course, ang kasunod ng murder palagi is homicide. Ang homicide, simple lang yan. At ilang pinagsabalyan da kini murder. Anong Tagalog niyan? Anong Ilocano? Awan kano ti qualifying circumstances na kano, haan kano nga murder, haan nga parricide, saan nga infanticide. That is your homicide. Ganon lang kadali. Okay. Lagi, sabi ko nga sa inyo, merong intention to kill. Intention to kill is presume. Big sabihin you don't need to prove because it's already presumed. Okay? So, if the killing is not attended by any qualifying circumstances, or it is not a murder, it is not a parricide, then it's not also an infanticide, then that is homicide. Ganun lang kadali ang isang homicide. Okay? Next one. Yes. Article 250, ang sabi dito, the penalty for frustrated parricide, homicide, or murder. No, wrong spelling to, sorry. Pero bago ako pumunta dyan, I hope na you also know what is the difference between an attempted, frustrated, and consummated. Siyempre, alam nyo kung ano ang consummated. Pag na-perfect nyo yung elements ng crime, that is consummated. Kasano agbalin nga frustrated, ma'am, kasano agbalin nga attempted. Ganito lang kadali yun. Si accused, let's just say ni Pedro. Ni Pedro, kung siya mismo ang pumigil sa sarili niya para ma-consummate yung crime, attempted yon. Pero, kung si Pedro, okay, akala niya sa sarili niya, na-consummate niya yung crime. Pero, other element or other circumstance prevented him to consummate the crime, that is a frustrated. Okay? Ganon lang kadali. Okay? So, courts may impose a penalty 2 degrees or lower for frustrated. Okay? And 3 degrees for attempted. Toy. Article 251 and Article 252. Atiket riri. Nakadado tinagririri. Article 251. Here, in your death cause in tumultuous affray. What is tumultuous affray? Okay. Magbibigay sana ako ng case, pero baka merong makamarkos sa inyo. Baka ito. In the case of People versus Ferrer. Okay. Sa case ng People versus Ferrer, meron isang grupo na tinatawag nila ang sarili nilang Marcos Loyalist. Meron silang, they pick on one defenseless individual. At dati may isang tao nga napagtripanda, and they attack him repeatedly. At yung nga tao, let's just say, pangalanan na lang natin si Pedro. Si Pedro, napagtripan ng mga Marcos loyalist, at ngayon, namatay si Pedro. Although there was a clash between two groups of rival political supporters, let's just say, Marcos loyalist and, ano nang tawag sa mga kakampinks. Example, nag-away-away ang mga Marcos loyalists tsaka ang kakampings. Okay? Murder qualified by abuse of superior strength. Okay? Not death in tumultuous affray is the crime committed. Because, okay, bakit ma'am nga Article 251? It was a murder qualified by abuse of superior strength. Because the offender were shown in a photograph in the case of People versus Ferrer sa case na to. Hindi haan kano nga tumultos affray ajay, but it was a murder because ada tinapicturan. Okay? A photograph properly identified the accused. Okay? Because in your Article 251 po, ado ti tao nga involved ito. There are several persons involved. Grupo ba sila o hindi? The answer there is no. Okay? Sa tumultuous affray, they did not compose groups organized for the common purpose of assaulting and attacking each other reciprocally. Okay? Number 3, that these several persons quarreled and assaulted one another in confused and tumultuous manner. When we say tumultuous manner, nagre-ririda, magulo sila. Okay? That someone was killed in the course of the affray, that it cannot be ascertained. In your tumultuous affray kasi, haan nyo amuno sino ti nakapatay talaga. Siyempre, agririringar ti tao na isla ko gang. Okay, gang war. Okay, you do not know. Amuno sino, siyempre pag nag-away ang gang, hindi, bakit? Kampi-kampi yan. Bahala na kung sinong mapatay mo, sinong maatake mo, basta hindi yung kakampi mo. Okay? And of course, it resulted to serious physical injuries, okay, and violence. And the same with Article 252. Yung una kasi is death. This one is physical injuries only. Okay? We go to 253. This is a very serious matter. In your Article 253, no, tinulungan mo ang isang taong magpapakamatay, you will be liable for Article 253. Okay? If an affirmative act is done like shutting off the oxygen tank at the request of the patient, Article 253 applies. Example, yung nurse. Okay, si Pedro, nahihirapan na siya sa buhay niya kasi na-disgrasya siya. Si Pedro ay nag-iisa na lang talaga sa buhay. Okay? Nung na-hospital pa siya, walang nag-aalaga sa kanya. Kung makatae na lang siya, makaihi na lang siya sa bed niya. Tapos wala na rin siyang paa, wala na siyang kamay. Okay? Tapos nahihirapan na talaga siya sa buhay niya. Kaso nasa hospital siya. Sinabihan niya ngayon si nurse. Sabi niya, nurse, nahihirapan na ako sa buhay ko. Pwede bang, i-off mo na yung oxygen tank. Gusto ko nang mamatay. Okay? Pag in-off ni nurse yung tank, she is liable for Article 253. Lagi niyong tandaan, in your Article 253, if the initiative comes from the offender, the crime is homicide. Okay? And not giving assistance. It is necessary that the initiative comes from the suicidal person because what is punished is assistance in the commission of suicide. Okay? We go to Article to. Liable ba yung magpapakamatay? Si Pedro, ma'am, liable ba siya? The answer there is no. Okay? Common sense will tell us, kaya ngang magpakamatay nung tao di ba? Ang magpakulong pa kaya, diba? Common sense. Kaya gusto nga niyang mamatay, ano pang silbi niyan kung ikukulong mo? Magpakamatay na lang din siya sa kulungan. Okay? Next is Article 254. Your Article 254 is in relation to your firearms code. Okay? Discharge of firearms. Okay? Of course, you know the elements. The elements here that the offender discharges a firearm against or at another person. Lagi nyo tandaan to, Nag-discharge siya ng baril against or at another person. Pwedeng tinutok niya lang. Okay? And may intent to kill ba sa discharge of firearms po? Wala. Kasi kung meron, that is homicide. Okay? Ito. Lagi niyang tandaan. Firing a gun against the house of the offended party at random. Ibig sabihin, hindi niya alam. Okay? Hindi niya alam na merong mga tao doon sa bahay. Okay? It is only alarms and scandals under Article 155. And of course, there must be no intention to kill. Next is your abortion. Okay? I hope na I discussed already what is infanticide a while back. Okay? Your abortion, of course, this is only done by those who are pregnant. Okay? Intentional abortion, there are different ways to commit it. Okay? There are 3. By using any violence upon the person of the pregnant. Okay? By acting but without using violence without consent of the woman and with the consent of the pregnant woman. At lagi, syempre, abortion to, dapat merong buntis. Then, it can be through violence or through drugs or beverages, okay? Or any acts against the pregnant woman. And the result of which is na-expel yung fetus doon sa womb. Okay? Expel. And the abortion is intended. Again, abortion, the intent here to kill is presumed. Okay? Meron din palang unintentional abortion, ma'am. Meron, syempre. In your Article 256, it provides for the intentional abortion. This one is unintentional. Ma'am, liable ka pa rin pala under revised penal code kahit naman hindi mo intensyong mapatay yung tao. The answer there is yes. Remember your negligence in your, madidiscuss natin later on yun. Yung negligence, di ba, nasa revised penal code also siya. Your reckless imprudence resulting to homicide, resulting to physical injuries, those are all without intent. Okay? And even your damage to property, those are without intent. Okay? So, yun ang difference ng Article 256 and 257. We go to Article 260. Your Article 260, ito liability to ng dalawang nag-agree na magsuntukan o kaya maglaban. Okay? This is the elements of duel. Duel. Okay? Responsibility of participants in a duel. Okay? So here, you have your adversary o yung kalaban mo. Ito yan. Kalaban mo. Siyempre, nag-agree kayo nga, ay, tara Pedro, magsuntukan tayo. Gano'n na, diba? Tara Maria, magsabunutan tayo hanggang matanggal lahat ng buhok natin. O mga ganun ba? Halika na, ka-trip-trip nyo lang that you can be liable for Article 263. Okay? And of course, sino ang liable sa duel? No, kung napatay mo yung kalaban mo, and you inflicted in physical injuries, okay? You can be liable for Article 260. Ma'am, paano kung napatay mo? What will be your liable? Article 260 ba? The answer there is no. Homicide. Diba? Lagi niyong tandaan that in your homicide, your intent to kill is presumed. Homicide, murder, merong intent to kill. Ilagay nyo sa utak nyo. Kasi kung walang intent to kill, reckless imprudence lang yan. Okay? Pero kung may qualifying circumstance, that is murder. Kung merong relationship, that is parricide. Kung less than 3 days old, that is infanticide. Okay? Next is your mutilation. No, inikat ko at abutom. inikat ko at susum, inikat ko at okim, I can be liable for mutilation under Article 262. In your Article 262, it is you deprive the person of her or his organ for reproduction. Bakit? Ano bang organ for reproduction? Dalawa lang naman yan. Ukikin, boto lang, titi at saka vagina only. Okay? So, if I remove that, I can be liable for mutilation. Of course, you just read the different elements. Of course, I know that you know what is serious physical injuries. Okay? These are the forms of serious physical injuries. Kailan ba nagiging serious yan? Kailan ba nagiging slight? Okay? We will discuss that mamaya. This is your serious physical injuries. Wounding, beating, assaulting, binugbog mo. Beating, binugbog mo, pero through other means. Wounding, sinugatan mo, and administering injurious substance. Okay? Lagi niyong tandaan, serious physical injuries dapat walang intent to kill. Kasi kung may intent to kill, homicide po yan. And just read this one. This will be your reading assignment. Okay? Less serious physical injuries. Okay? Malalaman nyo na less serious physical injuries yan dun sa days. Kung kailan siya incapacitated to work. Kung 10 days or more pero hindi lalagpas ng 30 days, let's just say less than 1 month. That is less serious physical injuries. Okay? At syempre dapat yung mga injuries committed or done against him is not that one imposed in your Article 264. Okay? I will have a separate I will discuss din sana ang rape, pero later on na lang. Your rape and your anti-hazing law. And even your child abuse and your pornography act. Okay?